Okay, so that small project is now done. I've been having a problem with my Ford Falcon. It collapsed a hydraulic lifter. So one of these little springs had failed. It actually collapsed. In turn, the ball couldn't make the seat didn't hold any pressure, so on and so on, and that caused a problem with some lash. So your clearance between your camshaft and the lifter, it had collapsed. So it was causing a rather loud noise and would have been losing horsepower. So what I decided to do was to make some mechanical lifters. I'm not the pioneer here. A friend of mine has already been down this road. I think it's similar to Ray's, but not exactly sure. Anyway, so what I've done is, this is the prototype. So this is one of the spares I had floating around. I just drilled a hole, tapped it, stuck a bolt in it and a lock nut, and it seems to work okay. So I'm now in the throes of making a jig that I can hold my rocker. You can see there's an orifice down there. That's for the oil feed. Normally that's fed oil. Actually, I think that's a relief. The oil goes out that way. In turn, gets splashed over the top of the rocker and lubricates everything. I don't think it's going to be a problem once I turn it into a mechanical, because the amount of oil that's in the top end is quite significant, but I will review that. So I'm making a jig so I can then put it in my drill press, drill out that hole, get a machined tap. A friend of mine, Daniel, had a spare one. He's given that to me. So I'm hoping to be able to locate that in the chuck nice and square, utilise the vise for said drill press, get everything nice and square, drill it out, tap it, and bolt and lock nuts on its way apart, and I'll give you an update when I get a bit further. Completely stripped down now, it's all the parts separated. The front of the shafts, you can tell the fronts because they're marked. That one's inlet, and that one somewhere there is exhaust. That's the front of the shafts. There's the wave washers that goes between all the rockers. So rear, all the way down to the front. That's apart. I'll give them a clean. Just a quick tip. I've just, as you can see here, this is one of the rockers, and this is one of the others off the same shaft, off the rockers I took out of the Falcon. Now what I've done is basically poured a little bit of this product, which is a gun wash, onto the rocker. By the time I walked over to the toolbox to find my brush, brushed it. This is what it was after I brushed it. This is what before I brushed it. So cleaning all the components for the rockers. The rockers there, they'll need to be lubricated. We've got steel in here. They need to be oiled, and I'll do that as soon as I'm finished here. Otherwise it'll just dry out. It's already dried out now. And again, I don't want any oxidisation on the bare aluminium surfaces. These forward, you can see there, they're all clean and dry. Clean and dry. And that's the other shaft. So it's not uncommon for me to get distracted while I'm doing projects like this, or somebody else needs a bit of help, and hence why I go through the extent of making sure everything's lubricated and packed away. I have in the past done this sort of project, got distracted, come back, and the job's then twice as much because I haven't done the prep. So rocker pedestals all lubricated, cleaned. I'll wrap it up, put it out the back. So this has been about 20 minutes, half an hour since I've cleaned all these, and they've been sitting here drying. And if you look in there, you can see it's already starting to oxidise. So be very careful when you clean aluminium, especially aluminium engine components, because they need to be lubricated straight away. So that's what I'm doing here, because the fluid that I've used for cleaning dissolves all oil, and there's no coating left on there to protect it, stop it from oxidising. So just be careful with that. So I've got the rockers all cleaned up, and they're now waiting to be modified, so I'll give them a new location. I want to utilise this part of the bench because I've got some time this afternoon to get onto these rockers, so let's go and get them out of the back of the shed. There they are. Let's get a start. So I'll give you a rundown on how I'm doing these, because I need a reasonably flat surface. So I can put that in the press over here, in the drill press. Belt sander, nothing new. Pretty much it, just a nice even flat surface so I can put it in the drill press. I can drill through here and tap it. So give you a rundown on how I'm doing this. So here, I've shown you how I've sanded that down. That gives me flat bed in the vise, nice and firm, so I can then clamp the vise up. I've already squared this and this. It's a 11mm drill, so I put it inverted in the chuck, utilise that to give me a reference, so I'll be able to run the drill bit through there, and that's going to be quite square to the drill press. So turn her on. Soft centre, so the vise moves. There you go. Drill bit out. Tap. Put the tap in the chuck. Now centre, a little bit out of frame. I released the drive belt off the drill press, so I can now turn that by hand. I can run this down, just give it a bit of a lube, just to make sure that's nicely lubricated. Right down to where I've just drilled. Touch off, a little bit of tension. Now a slight load on the lever for the chuck drive. We'll turn it by hand. You can see the arm moves slightly. This one, if you look in here, you see that moving as it's drilling, cutting its way through. The chuck then spins quite freely. We'll rotate it backwards with still slight load on the lever so it doesn't pull the vise off the bench. We'll lift it all the way out. And there she's free. Take her out of the truck, tap the swarf into the bin. there's a nut on the bolt. Run that through the thread. You can see it's quite a beautiful cut. Okay, that's another one done. Sorry, my OCD's kicking in. I can't leave cast marks. Maybe this goes back to when I was a kid making models. When you cut the panel out of the matrix, you'd have this shit hanging around. You've got to clean that up, and unfortunately, I have to. So this is what I do. So some people say it's OCD. It's actually not. It's just I have a certain level of standard, and that doesn't meet the standard I would that I accept. So fortunately, or unfortunately, I need to trim that up. All it is a cast, but it does my head in, because it's I do understand this is mass-produced products, but there's a certain level of professionalism I expect, and that's not it. Manufacturers don't have the time to do it. That's all it took. Same here, we had to do that to clean the cast marks off to get a square surface to do what I needed to do. Just a bit of core shift, that's all. But I can't leave that stuff, it sends me nuts. Okay, that small project is now done. Next step will be to maybe reassemble them, then dig out these things out of here, the lifters, the hydraulic lash adjusters, pull them apart and modify them.